It's a story, actually, that is not one of our projects, but I think it's worth telling. So most of you in this room probably, or maybe you do know, that the first company to launch a hybrid car, a mass market commuter hybrid car, was not Toyota. It was Honda. And by industry standards, Honda is the more environmentally sustainable company, by far. Honda is a remarkably sustainable company in terms of its manufacturing processes, its plants, its offices, operations, the engines that it builds, etc. Right? But consumers don't know that, and honestly, they don't care. So Honda did the logical thing. They said, we've built this hybrid engine, and they're great at engines. Engines are kind of their value proposition. And so they said, well, we have the Civic. The Civic is one of the most popular cars in history. Civic Nation. Everybody loves it. So let's do the logical, sensible, efficient thing. Let's stick Civic Hybrid on the back of a Civic, put the engine in, and just market it as a Civic Hybrid, as a brand extension of Civic. It looks just like the Civic, it's called the Civic, and etc. Guess how it did? Anybody here drive a Civic Hybrid? Failed. Utterly failed. So around the same time, Toyota, who are much more intuitive at that time, they realized that the reason why a person would buy a hybrid car is not because it is more efficient, sensible, better for the environment per se. It's because this is almost verbatim from a document of theirs, because they want to show off their moral and intellectual superiority to their friends and neighbors. And that is an insight. That's mimetic, right? And they said, therefore, it's a statement car. And therefore, it can't look like any other car. It's got to look weird, and it does. It's got to look awkward. It's got to have a name that's awkward and strange, sort of like some prehistoric creature, etc., so that we can have Leonardo DiCaprio drive it up to the Academy Awards the year that Titanic had won 10 nominations. He drives up, if you remember this, he is so ostentatious. He drives up to the red carpet, gets out 1 million cameras and flash bulbs, and he basically says, not in so many words, I could drive a limo here, or be driven in a limo, but I chose to drive myself in a Prius, which none of you know what it is, because I'm morally and intellectually superior to all of you losers. And this is the wave of the future, and I'm the first to tell you, yay me. And that really was the beginning of Prius. So in other words, they intuited that the real reason people wanted to buy the car was not logical, and it was not rational. It was psychological and sociological. There was an emotion or values attached to it. And that's why Prius pretty much dragged Toyota into the 21st century as a mother brand.